You spoke in the plenary session about digital transformation. You said digitalization is here now, not tomorrow, and is a differentiator. It's changing enterprise and entire industries and is software transformation. Could you explain us this concept?
Yeah, so we see digitalization is happening everywhere, and the most important point is that it is driven by the CEOs and not just by the IT department, because digital assets are becoming the competitive advantage for businesses. So what does this mean? A digital asset in the end is a software asset, meaning companies need to develop new applications and deliver services and differentiate them from their competition via software assets. So IT suddenly becomes very important for the businesses, because IT is becoming the business and not anymore just a supporting function.
You said also that is now hybrid period. The hybrid cloud is a reality. What about the position of Red Hat in this scenario?
So that's correct that there was a study done by IDC with over 6,000 people in over 31 countries, where the result was very clear that way over 80% of the respondents said that they will have workloads, so applications running in a private cloud and in a public cloud. In addition, they said that they will have public cloud services from multiple public cloud providers, so not just one single company. Okay? And at the same time, they need to be able to manage all these different resources, be it private or multiple public, from one single kind of point of view. So this study kind of confirms, that's also our experience with our customer base within Red Hat, that customers truly want to live in a hybrid world today and also tomorrow. So the only difference between one company to the other is like the share mix, how much will be private and how much will be public. So with this, what is very, very important, that companies are capable to live in this hybrid world, moving workloads from private to public, from public cloud provider number 1 to public cloud provider number 2, maybe back into the private scenario. So it's very important to live in this, and that's where we as Red Hat have a big focus to provide customers with technologies to live in this hybrid world of today and the future.
Open source driving today's software innovation is not just code, is a culture. Could you explain?
Yes. So first of all, when you look at all the new topics in our industries around, container technology, continuous integration, continuous development, big data, and so on, then we all talk about projects which are actually open source projects, like Docker, like Kubernetes, like Jenkins. So the innovation in today's world is happening not in the closed four walls of a technology provider, it's happening in these open source communities. So it's very important that you also participate in these open source communities. And the beauty with this is, when you in these open source communities, you also have to kind of change your culture, because it's not anymore about just keeping everything for yourself. It's about actually collaboration, it's about transparency, it's about sharing, and through this you actually solve real world problems faster and in a more efficient way. So it's not just culture, it's not just technology, it's also culture, process, and mindset.
Red Hat has got a platform, DevOps platform for the digital enterprise, integrated AI and hybrid. Could you describe this platform?
Yeah, so we have a platform as a service which is called Openshift. At the core of Openshift is, technology-wise, on one side you have Linux containers, which we know very well because we're doing this for many, many years. Then you have a new standard which is called Docker, which is like the format for what you put into the container. And then you have Kubernetes, which is an open source project which got launched by Google for orchestrating and managing your container environment. Okay? And Openshift as platform as a service is putting these together in a consumable way for an enterprise. And then it has additional tools for developers and management. And the key now is that with this platform, companies create an isolation layer between the application and the infrastructure, so that the application itself does not have to care or know about what the infrastructure is, because this platform as a service can run on physical assets, on virtualized asset, virtualized on VMware, virtualized on Microsoft Hyper-V, virtualized on Red Hat technology, or can run in the private cloud, like powered by OpenStack, or can run in the public cloud, like Google, like Microsoft, like IBM, like AWS, and so on. So with this, you suddenly get the freedom to move your workloads around without having to worry about the underlying infrastructure.
In your speech, you spoke about also some Red Hat figures like revenue, and also you said 58. Could you explain us this number?
Yeah, so 58 is the number I'm personally most proud of. I'm many years with Red Hat, and we as a company have now delivered 58 quarters in a row revenue growth, meaning quarter over quarter, 58 times in a row revenue growth. Where I always say, when you do something 58 times in a row and you succeed with it, this has nothing to do anymore with being lucky or it happened by an accident. So we're doing fundamentally things right by adding value and providing value to our customers. That's why they stay with us, grow with us, and expand with us.
A message for Italian customers, partner, and also...
So the same applies actually to the whole, in all the markets we are present. So there's nothing really specific now to Germany or to Italy or to France or to North America. We are living truly in a global world, and technologies are becoming we're living in a flat world where it's really kind of a similar situation in many areas. Obviously you have cultural differences we have to adhere to. But from a technology perspective, really the technology is used across the globe. Some adopted a little bit earlier, some adopted a little bit later, but it's happening everywhere.